This free real estate mastermind is your opportunity to show up with questions, thoughts, anything I can do to help you build your business. I'm committed to helping you do it. Show up Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Central at zoomwithrob.com, and I'll see you there. Welcome to the Impossible to Fail Real Estate Mastermind. All right, welcome to another episode of the Impossible to Fail Real Estate Mastermind. Gang, this is a totally free mastermind. I want you to show up with your questions so I can answer them, help give you insight on how you can actually get past any obstacles you have and make more money as an agent. I'm an educator. That's what I'm passionate about. As we get started, let me ask one or two people to share some wins that you've had from the previous week. I always want to talk about wins. Who's got a good win that they can share? Don't be shy.
Rob, I just went back under another contract for a buyer agency yesterday.
You just got another buyer agent rep agreement signed. How many rep agreements you got now, Matt?
I don't even know. I lost count. I need to look.
Lost count. You need to look. Matt,
count.
A few months ago, how many rep agreements did you have?
0.
Man, talk about speed of implementation. And that's just because Matt is implementing what he's learning here. He's going out and crushing it. Congratulations, Matt. If I recall correctly, Matt, on our call last week, you said you got 2 contracts during the call. Is that right?
Correct.
That's what I'm talking about. Crushing it, man. Congratulations, Matthew. That's amazing. Well done. Who else has a win?
I got my first closing on Friday.
Boom. Standing ovation. Confetti, fireworks. First closing for Matt Solis up in Dallas, another one of my agents up in Dallas. Now, Matt, how long have you been licensed?
End of August, I think it was September. Yeah, early September.
About just less than 3 months.
Yep, about 3
First
months.
closing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's incredible, man. Congratulations. And now these are for investors.
Yeah, these are house hackers. I met them at a Bigger Pockets meetup.
Nice.
Try and do one of those in-person meetups a week, if not every other week at least. And it's been paying off. I've met a few of my clients at these meetups, so it's going well.
Networking, community groups, business networking, one-to-ones. That's how you build the relationships. And you're actually taking advantage of your skill set as an investor, as a house hacker. You're going to investor meetups where other people want to make money investing. You're chatting it up. You're seeing if their goals are similar to yours. And you're saying, hey, I actually have the skill set and an investor as an agent, and I can help you. And since you're a buyer, it's not even going to cost you anything for me to give you my expert guidance here. And you're closing deals. That's amazing. But now you also have another rep agreement and are currently making offers with a second group of clients, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I have 6 clients right now. 2 of one of them is actively making offers. I have a listing for February, and then she's also going to do a buy after she sells. And then I have 3 other people that are kind of medium pipeline. They're not making offers yet, but they're my clients. We have signed
6 rep agreements, making offers on half of those within 3 months. Man, that's incredible. And what you said, it's so important to remember, everyone, that as an agent, Matt said, they're not making offers right now. That's more of a medium pipeline. So Matt, how far out do you think they are roughly?
I would say 6 months at the most.
That's right. That's right. So remember that your short-term pipeline, that's going to be 0 to 3 months. Okay. Because if they need to close in 3 months, you're going to have to get something under contract in the next 6 to 8 weeks. You want to start viewing properties, getting them pre-approved. Medium pipeline, that's going to be that 3 to 6 months. Long-term pipeline, that's going to be that 6 to 12 months. But remember that your pipeline is like a conveyor belt. Okay. And your bank account is at the front of the conveyor belt, right? So your short-term clients, that's right here. And that's just feeding into the conveyor belt, right? But the medium and long-term clients, they're still going to make it to the end. It's just a longer journey for them. But as an agent, where so many fall short is they only stay focused on the short-term pipeline and they see no value in someone saying, oh, we just renewed our lease, or we're not really going to be buying for 9 to 12 months. And they go, okay, call me in 9 to 12 months, versus really nurturing them, developing that relationship. So they will actually work with you, because trust me, from my experience, in 12 months, 6 months, 9 months, you're still going to want that business. You're still going to be able to help them. You're still going to want that commission check. And that's exactly what Matt's doing now. He's got offers that he's making right now within a short amount of time. He applied the information he's being taught. He's got a closing coming up. He's making offers, and he's got that longer term pipeline filled. So he knows when his head hits the pillow at night, he can still feel confident that he's still going to have business coming over the next 6 months. So Matt, congratulations, man. That's fantastic. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Anyone
Thank
else
you.
have a win they want to share?
I got a rep agreement signed. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Candy. So I had a closing. I have 5 prospects, but I have two meetings set up with them, with 2 of them. And I did 2 one-to-ones.
Congratulations, Mercedes. So you got closings coming up. You did one-to-ones. Now, Mercedes, you know, I mean, coincidentally, everyone on this mastermind today is an Earth to Orbit student in my sales course. And it's so exciting to see everyone applying this information they're being taught and getting real concrete results. So Mercedes, let's tell everyone real quick, what is a one-to-one? Why are they valuable?
So a one-to-one is meeting with I'll say potential client or referral partner, just to kind of have a little conversation, and then at the end, kind of ask them for a referral.
That's right. That's right. And everyone here also attended my Building a Referral-Based Business Bootcamp over the course of this month. It was a 4-week course. And we talked about the fact that building a referral-based business really is building a relationship-based business. Those 2 terms are synonymous. And we talked about, over the 4 weeks, I taught how to do relationship-based prospecting so that you can get income referrals rather than chasing cold leads. And so Mercedes, what you're talking about is having that one-to-one, which is again about an hour window of time. You get together for a coffee, a beer, a lunch, or dinner. You're hanging out. You're just getting to know each other. So who can tell me 3 things need to be in place for you to get a referral? People need to blank, blank, and blank you. What are those?
Trust and love.
Right. Rosita, I see you. Why don't you unmute yourself? Go ahead. Tell me. What is it?
Oh, okay. I'm here. People need to trust you.
Yep.
People need to love you.
Yep.
And people need to, I forgot.
Oh, you're so close. Who knows?
The third thing is
Mercedes, what you got?
No trust and like.
That's right. Boom. Excellent. Very good.
trust, like, and love.
Know, like, and trust, right? Very close. I mean, if they know you, they like you, right?
Oh,
They
they
probably
know
can't like
you.
you without
Yeah,
knowing
yeah,
you.
yeah.
But yeah, they need to know you, like you, and trust you. So think of it in that order. First, I need to get someone to know me. Then we need to develop a mutual relationship. Then I need to build that trust, which happens with time and nurturing that relationship. Someone might be able to know you and like you within 5 minutes, but they don't trust you yet because they don't know you. Trust can only be built with time. And so what Mercedes doing is she's strategically having these one-to-ones and building relationships with people that can help her build her business now or later. And she's also building relationships with people that she can help, because these people might not need an agent, but they may need help in some other way. They may need a contractor for their house. They may need someone to help them. And if Mercedes offers that value and says, hey, I have someone that can help you, Mercedes has now built her trust and deepened her relationship with these people who will be more likely to refer her later. Excellent job. And she's getting closings, clients out of it. Good. Now we got Kevin. I want you to stay focused on the road. Okay. But tell us about a win. Now, Kevin also has been coming to these masterminds. He last month decided to invest in Earth to Orbit, take his destiny into his own hands. Give us a win, Kevin.
I started just asking for appointments at the open houses, and I got my rep agreement signed, and I'm looking for a first-time home buyer right now. I'm actually heading to a lender to talk to them about hooking them up.
Dude, I got goosebumps right now, Kevin. That is incredible. Holy smokes. He got an appointment at the open house. And that is something that we teach in Earth to Orbit. That's also something that we taught in the referral-based business bootcamp. So important to ask for appointments at the open house. The goal of every open house, who can tell me what is the goal of every single open house?
Getting the point.
Appointment.
Perfect. In
Appointment.
stereo. I love it. To walk away with one appointment. Now, in order to walk away with an appointment, you need to ask for the appointment at the open house. You use that ABC script, the action, benefit, commitment. You're learning what their needs are. And before they leave, you give them that script. And then you say, would weekdays or weekends be best to get together? Weekdays, weekends, morning, afternoons, early evenings, propose 2 times. Remember that you don't want to make a statement. You don't want to say, hey, I'd love to meet with you. Okay, bye. That's exactly what's going to happen. We'll call you. They're not going to call. Ask questions. You remain in control by asking questions. I'd love to get together with you. I have a firm understanding of what you need. I work with first-time home buyers all the time. So tell me, would a weekday or weekend be best? Perfect. Weekday, morning, afternoon, early evening. Great. Would Wednesday at 1 or Thursday at 2 be best? Boom. There you go. You got the appointment. So it's so exciting to see Kevin implementing quickly. He's implementing quickly and he's getting concrete results. So before we get into any questions y'all have, today's topic I just want to hit briefly is about speed of implementation. And this is something that everyone on this call has heard before because they're consistently showing up. And they also know that I'm a big fan, for myself as well, of hearing the same type of information over and over and over and over again. You don't just hear it once and say, okay, I know it, I've mastered it, moving on. This has to be so second nature to you that it becomes your own thought process, which can only be done by constant exposure. Just like any skill you've learned, a sport, riding a bike. It's not like the first time you ride a bike, you're like, okay, I'm a master, right? No, you have to do it over and over and over again. So speed of implementation, who can define? Let's first define implementation. What does implementation mean?
Doing.
Correct. Matt, Mercedes, very good. Doing things. Okay. Now, how would you define speed of implementation?
Quick, doing it quick.
That's right. Perfect, Mercedes, right? Matt, what you got?
Leaving the Zoom.
You learn the information to the time you actually do something. That is the speed of implementation.
Yes, right. Everyone had a great answer. What Matt Solis just said is exactly what I was looking for. We define it as the window of time between getting exposed to the information and applying it. Right. Everyone said, like Mercedes and Matt, right, both said like doing it fast. Yes, of course, I want to do it as fast as possible. But what we're really talking about is that window of time between getting exposed to the information and actually implementing it. Okay. And so realize that it starts with the info, the idea, and that can come from your own head or it can come from an external source like me teaching you something. And so from the time that idea happens until the time you implement it, the goal is to have it be really, really fast, especially if that idea comes from a trusted source. So as an example, each one of you on this call is invested in my course. You're getting real results from it. And you also come to this mastermind every week. And you also came to the boot camp. So realize that the results, for anyone that's watching this after the fact, realize the results that these people are getting are not by accident. They show up. They're investing time and money in their education and they're winning because of it. But it's important to realize that they're doing it because they do it fast. Right? Kevin, who's driving right now in order to get a contract for some first-time home buyers. You're right. He came to the masterminds. He committed to the course. And I want to say it's been about 2 weeks. And now he's got a buyer rep agreement asking for an appointment at the open house. Kevin, were you asking for appointments at the open house before you met me?
No, I wasn't. I was just using that as the appointment time and really haven't got any progress doing that.
Right. So he was doing open houses, wasn't getting results. He meets me and gets exposed to my content. And I emphasize the importance of getting the appointment at the open house. And I also give him the script, the exact words to use in the order, even as far as detailed as the vocal inflection that you use when you do it. Within a couple weeks, he implements it, gets an appointment, gets a rep agreement, and is going to get a contract, right? Matt Wright, within months, getting closings on closings, lost track of how many rep agreements he has. Matt Solis, every little Mercedes, Rosita, Larry, everyone on this call getting big results because they're implementing quickly. The worst thing you could do is get information and delay, to get caught in that analysis paralysis, to get caught up in the, well, what if I mess up? I don't know. I'm unsure of myself. You get the information from someone that's done what you're trying to do, that has valuable info that you trust. And when they give you that idea, you take it and you run with it as fast as you can. And literally every single person on this call is proof that it works, right? I've been able to achieve a lot of big things in all of my businesses because I hire the best person I can find. I invest in the best education I can get. And when I get an idea, I say, oh, that person's telling me to do this. I've never done it before. I'm a little apprehensive about it, but I'm not going to let that stop me. And I'm going to do it right away. That is how you win. So speed of implementation is the deciding factor. I would say it's the number one deciding factor on how quickly you are going to achieve success. And I know that everyone wants to achieve results fast, right? Raise your hand if you want to achieve results fast. Everybody wants to, right? If you're listening to this, if you're watching this video, you just raise your hand, right? Everyone wants fast results. The only way to get fast results is to take fast action, to implement things really, really fast. If you don't do anything differently, obviously you're not going to get different results. That only makes sense. You can't expect different things outcome if you're not putting in different input, right? But by learning a good idea, implementing it, that's how you start getting results. So congratulations to everyone on this call for maximizing and being a perfect example of speed of implementation. I love it. Cool. So let's get to the masterminding portion of this call. It looks like Rosita has a question. So Rosita, let's start off with you.
All right. So Rob, I have a couple of questions. Let's start with one-on-one meetings.
Okay.
Is it a good idea to invite past clients on one-on-one meeting?
All right. Let's see with your thumbs, everyone on the call. What do you think? Thumbs up, yes. Thumbs down, no. Middle, you're not sure. Should you have one-to-ones with past clients? Yes, absolutely you should. So Rosita, let me ask you, before I give you my input, why is it a really good idea to make sure you do have one-to-ones with previous clients?
Oh, because these people know you.
Mm-hmm.
They probably trust you.
I hope so.
And love you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And we talked about this in the Building a Referral-Based Business Bootcamp. This is also a whole section in Earth to Orbit. We have a whole lesson on building a referral-based business, and there is a large module in there that is titled Maximizing Previous Clients.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was the last session. I missed this session.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Exactly. So let's talk about that for a moment, right? This is where most real estate agents will completely drop the ball. Okay. They will work a client. They're going to work so hard to get that client. They're going to go through the transaction, and who better to give you a referral than a previous client? Who better to know exactly how you work and the skill set that you have as an agent than someone that you've helped sell a house or buy a home or invest, right? Or even rent a property. No one is more qualified to give you a referral than a previous client. No one. And what most agents will do is they will take it to the finish line, and they're so excited, and then that person drops off the face of the earth. I remember last week on the last session of the boot camp, we had another outstanding agent in Houston here who is also invested in Earth to Orbit. His name is Brian Shaw, and Brian purchased a home. I think it was maybe 4 to 5 years ago. He said he purchased the home that he was sitting in, and he said, you know, now Brian wasn't a licensed agent at the time, but Brian said, I haven't heard from the agent that helped me buy this house since closing day. I mean, that's atrocious. What a travesty, right? Maximizing previous clients, they are your best referral source. I put time and money into previous clients because they are the best people to refer you, not just for themselves, but for people that they know, for other people that they know looking to buy or sell in the area, and for themselves as well, because you should be their realtor for life. And I tell my clients all the time, right? You got a dentist, right? You got a doctor, you got an attorney, you got a CPA. I'm your realtor forever. So let's talk about some things we can implement to maximize previous clients. So hopefully you got your notepads, you got your pens. Let's take some notes here and get some refreshers. And if you're watching this, take these notes and show up to this mastermind, because this is really good content. What are some techniques that you can do that I've taught you or that you know of that you can use to maximize previous clients? Rosita, let's start with you. And you already asked this question. So what is one thing you can do to maximize previous clients?
Rob, first of all, I'm connecting with them over the phone.
Yeah.
And usually around Christmas time, I'm trying to meet them in person with a small present.
Yep.
So once a year, face to face, and the other time over the phone. In terms of Google reviews, I didn't get from all of them Google reviews. So I'm wondering now, let's say if I'm ready with Christmas presents for all of them, I'm wondering, is it, how can I approach them about Google review? Should I send them a letter, write them a letter together with the Christmas card? Or should I ask them virtually? What is
That's
the
a great
best
question.
way?
Rosita, I'm going to circle back to that because I do want to make sure we hit that first question first, and then we're going to circle back to reviews. So Rosita brought up one-to-ones. So yes, you should be having a one-to-one with past clients. Now, for sure that should be in person at least once a year, in face one-to-one, right? Now, one way that's really easy to do is for previous buyers that are now homeowners. What I recommend that I teach in the course and that I taught in the boot camp is the annual CMA on the house anniversary. You put it into your CRM a couple weeks before the house anniversary comes up. You call them, you say, hey, we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary or the 2-year, the anniversary of you purchasing your home. And of course, as you know, it's a free service I offer for all my homeowners. You should know what the value of your largest asset is. I think everyone should know what the value of their home is. Obviously, you might not be planning on moving anytime soon, but I think you should know what your house is worth. So, what's the best time for me to just pop over, say hello? I'd love to see the house and catch up, and also just show you the value. Would a weekday or weekend work best? And you're going to do that same weekdays, weekends, morning, afternoon, early evening, and propose 2 times. In presenting the annual CMA, you get a few benefits. Number one, you're getting FaceTime with them. It's just another opportunity to deepen the relationship. Number 2, you're reminding them you are the expert. Number 3, if you're going into their house and they're homeowners and you're presenting a listing presentation, what is the next, whenever it is, what is the next transaction they're going to do with you?
A listing.
Yeah, they're going to
Sell
have to
their
list their house. If they're buying a new house, that means they need to sell their current house. So if every single year you're going in and giving them a CMA, basically doing a listing presentation, who are they going to call to list the house? You. Of course, they're going to call you. Who are they going to call when they hear of someone else needing to sell their house? You, because they're used to you coming there every year doing the CMA. So for sure, an in-person one-to-one via annual CMA is a great way to do it. What are some other ways you can maintain relationship with previous clients outside of an in-person yearly meeting?
What about like a client appreciation event and like throw like a party or something that reserve like a room at some bar or somewhere, I don't know, and then just invite a bunch of people and see who would come out and hang with you.
Matt Solis, bullseye, 100%. Client appreciation event. You can absolutely do that. And sometimes you may see some real top producing agent or companies that are like, we rented out this whole amazing venue. It's like, if you're not there yet, don't worry about it. Reserve a table at a bar, right? Do karaoke, have a barbecue in a park. Like it doesn't have to break the bank to do that, but an opportunity to just get people together is fantastic. And as people come up, the cool thing that everyone has there in common is you were their agent. And for sure, it's going to come up. How did Matt help you? How did Matt help you? Oh, Matt was so awesome. You got a picture with everybody. You can have a videographer. You can make some good content out of it. You can get some testimonials. That's a great way to maximize previous clients. Well done, Matt. What else can you do to maximize previous clients?
Pop buys.
Yeah, pop buys, right? A lot of people, like Rosita said, Thanksgiving, the holiday time, you drop off a little something at the doorstep. Absolutely. How about how about quarterly phone calls? We do teach that, right? Once a quarter, that's every 3 months. You should be touching base with everyone in your database, especially previous clients. So my CRM, my team, we use Follow Up Boss. And once you tag someone with a past client tag, every 3 months, they're going to pop up on your, hey, you got to call these people today list. Pretty much any CRM can do that. If you don't have a good CRM, you should, but you could even just set a reminder. Remind me in 3 months to get in touch with John, right? But once a quarter, you should be giving a phone call to all of your previous clients just to say hello. And at the end of the conversation, you can ask them those 4 magic words, which are, who do you know? That's looking to buy a home, sell a house, or invest in real estate. I can call today. Okay.
Hey, Rob, I have
Yeah.
a quick question about the quarterly phone calls.
Yes.
Do you ever run into those phone calls and you call them and they're like, hey, what do you need? Kind of vibe. Like they're not down to like talk. Like, do you ever have that? Or do you have like a strategy that you open up with where it feels natural? Cause I found that sometimes when I call people in my sphere, they're like, why are you calling me? Essentially. They're like, I don't understand why you're calling me. They're not down to like, to chat essentially.
Yeah,
So,
no, for sure. So one delineation, and Yes, that has happened to me before. So let me just make one delineation before I get to that question. Is you're talking about your sphere. We're talking about previous clients.
Same thing. I'm just using that.
Yeah. It's very similar. Now, I will say I typically haven't really had that with previous clients, just because when they see me calling or one of my agents calling, they're like, well, it's my realtor calling.
Okay.
Like, hey, they might be a little surprised, like, hey, how's it going? I've never had somebody like, yo, what do you need? I don't really have time. If you do, if that happens, I would recommend you just say, oh, hey, didn't want to catch you at a bad time. I really just wanted to say hello and see how you're doing. When's a good time to call and catch up? When's a good time for me to call you back? I don't want to bother you.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's all you got to do. Now, Matt, you can also, and everyone, you can also experiment with some things. Like you might want to try sending a text first, a warm-up text. Hey, it's been a while. Just want to connect. When's a good time for a phone call? And you could try that and you could see, or you might want to try that with your sphere and try calling previous clients, right? There's no right or wrong way to do it. It really just depends on what do you find works the best for you. And what works the best for me might not work best for Matt or Mercedes or Kevin or Rosita or Larry, right? Or Matt. So it's really just about experimenting and trying it out. But if you get that, for sure you don't want to inconvenience anyone. You say, hey, didn't want to catch you at a bad time. Just really just call and catch up and say hello. When's a good time to connect again? And you can leave it right there. And then with the previous clients, there's not really a script for that. And I wouldn't recommend you try to have that scripted. I would really just recommend you say, hey, how's it going? How's the house? I mean, if you do it right, you know a lot about these people. You have really deepened your relationship. You know about their kids. If they have kids, you know about their pets, you know about the things going on in their life. When you're on the phone with them, you should be in your CRM taking notes. If you're not in a position to take notes, maybe you're in the car or you're just not in a position to take notes. As soon as that call is done, you should hop in and take notes. And it's really easy to do, even if you're not in your computer. I mean, Follow Up Boss, any CRM has a great, app on the phone. So if you're out and about doing grocery shopping and you're talking to a previous client, you pull over in the aisle as soon as the call is done, take 30 seconds and just type in all the off ramps that you spoke about. So that the next time you call them 3 or even 6 months later, if they don't pick up the first time, you can say, hey, last time we spoke, it sounded like your dog was having some surgery. How did that go? Number one, you really care about that. But if you don't write it down, like some agents will be like, man, that just seems, I don't know, seems a little weird. Like to like write something down like that just so you can ask about it. Well, number one, it's impossible to remember that. Right? With the amount of people that agents talk to, if you do it right, I mean, our database has like thousands of people in it. Right? And so you're talking to hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands of people a year. How can you possibly remember all of those little intricate details? But you care about it. Of course you do. There's nothing wrong with saying dog had surgery, reminder to check in on it and ask them about it 3 months later because you care about it. They're going to be really impressed that you remember, even if you wrote it down. Like when I go to the doctor's office or I'm calling someone, right, or like a profession or even my CPA, and they're like, hey, so how's that business venture going you were starting up? I assume they wrote it down and I'm still impressed. Just the fact that they write it down enough to care and to have something to talk to me about. That's pretty impressive. So being able to create those conversational pieces, and when you're in the transaction with them, referencing just aspects of their life. When you call them, how's it going? How's the kids? How's, Frank doing in middle school? He's in 6th grade. Is he getting used to it? Or I know you're empty nesters now. How does that feel? You finding some more hobbies or something, right? There's a lot of things you can generate conversation with because of your knowledge of them and their life. And you should definitely be doing that. It's just, you're just talking to friends. That's really how you want to think of it. And then you just ask them at the end if they have any referrals. And if not, that's cool because they're going to think of you when they do. So to answer your question, yes, definitely get those in-person meetings at least once a quarter, even if they don't pick up. You leave a voicemail and you send a text. Hey, this is Rob. No need to call back. I really just wanted to check in and say hi. I'm always here to help if you need anything at all.
I figured out something that I would like to share. I tried both calling and texting, but lately I've been trying sending voice memos, and I find that's a nice happy medium. Like, for instance, if I want to just send like a personalized message to someone, but I know from experience, like they don't usually like talking on the phone. Well, I'll send them voice memo and just say something there, and then that will go off better than just a text. So
yeah, great observation, Matt. And I use voice memos all the time. I'll use voice memos if I'm even connecting with another agent. Like if another agent schedules a showing on one of my listings, and I always call them just to connect, get some good rapport. If they don't pick up, I'll leave a voicemail and then I'll send them a voice memo. And the heading, I'll just type out, from Rob Stein, listing agent at 123 Smith Street. And then I'll leave a voice memo because they're like, oh, a voice memo. Like, I got to listen to it. I got to know what it says. And then they can actually hear your voice. They can hear the sincerity and the intention versus text can always be, it's kind of a toss up. Like, how are they going to interpret your text? If they're in a bad mood, they may interpret your text differently than if they're in a good mood. Who knows? So that's a great observation, Matt. Voice memos, give it a try and see how people respond. Great suggestion. Thank you. All right. Maximizing previous clients. For sure, you're leaving a lot of money on the table if you're not focusing on it. And again, that's where most agents drop the ball. And if you really maximize previous clients and you're like everyone here is on the call and you're closing a lot of deals, you could be getting a huge, if not all of your commission every year from your referral base. And a large portion of that is going to come from maximizing previous clients. Client Giant is another service I use. That's a great one. It's not free, but it's $99 a year. And once a quarter, anyone in there is going to get a custom gift. It's going to have their name on it. It's going to have your name on it. It's going to be a nice note to them. And it's $99 a year, but they get a custom gift 4 times a year, once every 3 months. Now, again, in Earth to Orbit, we taught, and in the bootcamp, we talked about free methods of maximizing previous clients and paid methods of maximizing previous clients. And that you should really be doing both. Like a phone call is free, Client Giant is not. But the reality is, as you scale, you need to be able to invest some money to continue to scale your business. And I can tell you that Client Giant, I love it because it's a super duper passive way for me to stay on top of my client's mind. And once a quarter, I always get a series of phone calls and emails and text messages. Say, Rob, hey, I love the gift. Thank you so much. I log on to Client Giant. I see a beautiful picture of what they got. And that's exactly what it should be. I shouldn't even have to think about it at all. It's very hands-off, but it's a really like high-level way to stay top of mind with your previous clients. So Client Giant is another fantastic way to do it. I do have a promo code, get a little discount on your first little bit of your membership if anyone wants to check it out. Okay, now let's get to
working in Canada or just for the States?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. You should check their website. Just Client Giant. You can Google it.
Okay.
Now, Rosita had another question on reviews. Google reviews. So I got a question a lot. Where's the best spot to leave reviews? Because there's a lot of places people can leave reviews. Google, Facebook, Zillow, all sorts of places. Google is the way to go. Because most likely when someone is looking up an agent, they're going to go to Google before they go to Zillow or Facebook. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of people like, to say like, hey, can you leave a review in 4 different places? Right? If they're tech savvy, it doesn't take that long, but most people are going to be like, oh, that. So here's what you do. Here's how I recommend you do it. First, you establish a link to your Google business page. And you should have a Google business page. So first of all, if you don't have a Google business page, set up a Google business page. If you don't know how to do it, just go to Google and type how to set up a Google business page and you'll figure it out. Okay. Make sure to put a nice picture there, post some content up there every now and then. And you're going to have a link to your Google business page. One really cool tip you could do is you could get what's called a forwarding domain, meaning you can go to like GoDaddy and I might get reviewswithrob.com if that's available. And I can buy that domain for $1 a month and have that forward to my Google business page. So I can even say, hey, can you go to reviewswithrob.com and just leave me a quick review? Something that's easy for people to remember. Or you could really just text them a link. So I'll tell you how I do it. And hopefully this will help. There's a lot of ways to do it. What we do is in our CRM, we have in Follow Up Boss, when someone gets a tag and their closing date, a few days before closing, we're using Zapier, Zapier, which is a software that lets different programs talk to each other. They automatically get a text a few days out of closing saying, hey, this has been absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited for your closing. Would you mind clicking here to leave a review? And if they don't, they get a reminder. So that's really easy to do. You can set that up. You're going to have to hire someone that's a little bit of tech savvy to do it, or you might know how to do it yourself. Now, another thing you could do is you could manually do it. You could set a task for yourself in your CRM, or even a calendar event. Okay, closing is December 7th. On December 6th at 12 p.m., remind me to ask Rick for a review, right? And so you could do that. And then you could just have a text. And what I recommend you do is you create a keyboard shortcut so that when you type, hashtag review, the whole paragraph or a couple sentences pops up. So you don't have to remember the link and copy paste. You just say, and just type in their name. Hey, Rick, I can't wait for our closing. I'm so excited for you. Leaving reviews is so very helpful when people are exploring working with me. And it also really helps our rankings. So I can just help more people. Would you be willing to take 30 seconds to leave me a quick review? And I like that phrase. Would you be willing? Not would you mind? Can I ask you to? When you say the word, would you be willing? Most people are not going to be like, no, I won't be willing to do that. So just that phrase I really like. Would you be willing to help me out? Or you could even just send a text. Hey, Rick, I hope you're having a great day. I'm so excited for our closing. Hey, I need a 30-second favor. Would you be willing to help me out? Sure. What's up? Would you mind leaving? And then you just send them the link to leave a review. And the review, the link should take them right to the page where it literally pops up and they can just start typing. That's the best way to do it. You don't want to have them go to Google and find your page. Now, that's the free way to do that. There are other paid softwares out there that can manage reviews for you. And I've tried those. And I think at the peak, I was paying about $250 or $300 a month. But the reality is it's just automations that I figured I can set up myself and save $300 a month, because I didn't really see a point in spending, $3,500, $3,600 a year for automations that if I invest a few $100s and hire someone, they can just build out for me and I don't have to worry about it anymore. So that's just how you would do it. Now, another time you can do it. I really recommend asking for reviews within a few days prior to closing. What a lot of agents will do is they'll ask for reviews at the closing table. Remember, at the closing table, you ask for referrals, not reviews. Because on closing day, guess what? They're moving, or they're about to move, and moving takes a really long time. They're walking around the house. There's boxes, there's clutter everywhere. No one's leaving a review during that time. The week leading up to closing, they're excited. They're not moving yet. They got a little bit of time, but closing is imminent. Right? Wait till you get the clear to close before they write a review. But leading up to closing, the 4 to 5 days prior to closing, I think is the best time to ask for a review, because otherwise it's probably not going to get done. And then you're going to be, and I've been there before, and Rosita's there right now, where now you're chasing them months later to leave you a review. So Rosita, what you could do is I recommend a text because it's going to be the highest read rate. And I recommend you say, hey, I hope you're doing well. Have a little, how was your Thanksgiving? Have a little, off-ramp chat, phone call, or text. And then, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out. It'll just literally take you 30 seconds. Would you be willing to do me a quick favor for 30 seconds? Sure, Rosita. How can I help? And then you just send them the link to your Google business page and tell them exactly what I said. All right, I was hoping you could leave me a review. I'm trying to ramp up my visibility so I can help more people. And when folks are exploring working with me, it's really helpful for them to read reviews from real people like you who I was able to help so successfully. Would you be willing to take literally 30 seconds to a minute to leave me a quick review just one time? Absolutely. Right. You could also ask them to do a video. Right. We've done that before too.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult to.
Huh?
It's very difficult. Yeah, I tried many times for ask for a video, and I got only one client who left me a video. And just because I've been face to face with them,
Sure.
and kind of, she asked me all the time, this old lady, what should I say? What should I say? So I guide her a little bit what to say.
Yeah, texts are going to be better because people can do it. They can do it at a stoplight. Like, it's more convenient. They shouldn't, but realistically, it's going to happen that way probably. So, a text review is an easy way to do it. There's even software out there that they could send a text that's going to get linked up to a review. But again, the easy manual way to do it, get a link, send the link to your Google business page, have them write a review. Doesn't take long at all. Okay.
And over the phone, not via email.
Yeah. I mean, because a text is going to get a higher read rate than an email for sure. Yeah. So I'm a fan of texting. It's always the best way to go in terms of something quick like that. If you're trying to build rapport, you do that over the phone, but a review or a quick thing like text over email for sure.
And also, Rob, because again, I missed the last session for social media, and I watched the video replay, and you're talking about your team for social media creator, that maybe it's possible to connect us with them. Is it possible? How much does it cost? Or it's very difficult? So if you have somebody like, I'm not
No,
familiar.
it can be done. So I'll tell you what I did. I recently hired, and then I want to ask someone else if they have a quick question before we roll. I have a good friend of mine owns a company that places VAs in your business. They will come up with the resume. They will pre-screen people. They will interview with you, and then they will actually train and onboard these people and be with them for a year, managing them. So if you're like, I really need to hire some help, whether it's social media or anything, but I don't really have the skill set or time to do it, this is a great resource. There's an initial fee, and depending on what you need to get with them, because they're doing a lot of work. But the reality is that once you bring these people on, it's very, very cost effective. So that could be a good way to do it. Typically, there's a $5,000 onboarding fee for them to get all your stuff set up. But then after that, you might be paying $1,200, $1,300 a month for a full-time person. Or if you need someone part-time, they can work with you also. I don't want to take up any more time here with that, but if anyone has any questions on that, just shoot me an email and I will connect you with my friend and he can take it from there. I have 2 more minutes. Does anyone have one last question before we roll?
Yes, I do.
Matt.
So at an open house, what's a great way to transition from, they've looked at the house and they've come back around and I say, okay, so what'd you think? We're asking those additional questions like, in a perfect world, how soon do you want to be in your new home? And are you working with a realtor? How do you transition from that to the ABC script? I noticed on your videos that you kind of recap their situation.
Yep.
And then you ask, can I make a recommendation?
Yep.
But I just wanted to see if anyone else had an experience with that. But that I've just been copying that. I just recap their situation and then that's how I get to the ABC scripts.
Yeah. And so what you're referencing are the scripts, but also the demo videos in Earth to Orbit that literally were staged in a listing of mine where I had actors coming in and like we actually staged real open houses. And yeah, I mean, what you're seeing is absolutely the way to do it. And that's how I've been so successful at converting clients at open houses. I mean, that was really how I built my business and got to the point that I don't have to do open houses anymore. You recap the information first, and that's done in a couple ways. Number one, as you're having the conversation when they're on the way into the house and then they're exploring the house and they're on the way out, when you recap the situation, it tells them without telling them, I understand what you're going through and I've been listening to you. And when people are like, oh, this agent's really pushy, it's because, or whenever one of you or me has had like, oh, someone's too pushy, it's because they don't listen to you. That's when you feel someone's too pushy. So when agents tell me, oh, Rob, I'm afraid of sounding pushy, it's because they recall a time when someone was too pushy with them. And what happens is it's because they weren't listening. I'll give you an example. When it was like the first time I bought a car by myself. I was like 22, 23, no freaking idea what I was doing. And I go to the car dealership and, I'm like, of course, a young 23-year-old dude. And I'm like, I want a black sedan. I'm gonna put some black tints on that bad boy too. So I want a black sedan. I want a black Nissan Versa. And the dude, whose sales manager probably told him, we need to sell that vehicle today. Like bonus for you to do it. We got to get that thing off the lot. So I'm like, hey, I need a black sedan that's really good on gas mileage. And he was like, cool. What do you think about that white pickup truck that's 13 years old? I'll give you a good price on that. And I'm like, instantly, I was like, can I talk to somebody else? Because it was very clear that he didn't give a damn about me or even listened to anything I said. Right. Or when you're talking to a telemarketer and you're trying to be cool and they're like, hey, I'm calling to see if you need this, that, and the other. And you're like, no, not really interested in solar panels. And they're like, okay, but, and then they don't even, why not? They don't even take any off ramps. They just keep reading their script. You're like, bro, I hate you. You're a waste of life. Click. Right. Like that's because they weren't listening to you. When people listen, it's not being pushy. You feel heard. Right. And so the reason, Matt, I like to do the recap is because it tells them I'm listening to you. I understand your situation. So they feel confident in saying, wow, Matt really understands what I'm going through here. And when you recap and then lead into, may I make a recommendation? The benefit of may I make a recommendation is the fact that you're even asking that question is establishing you as an expert, because they're like, oh, well, this guy has a recommendation for me, obviously, because he's the expert here. And remember, just like you said, Matt, you ask it with a downswing. So it's not, can I make a recommendation? It's, can I make a recommendation? Can I make a recommendation? Because then they're going to say yes. And then you give them the ABC script. And remember, the B, the benefit is customized based on their situation. So whatever you said in the recap. So as I understand it, right, sounds like you're moving here from out of state. Your house is already under contract over there in, Delaware, and you're going to be coming over here. You need to find something in the next 30 to 45 days, and you're paying cash. You don't need to qualify. Is that right? Did I miss anything? No, Rob, that's awesome. Perfect. Can I make a recommendation then? Okay. I help first-time out-of-state home buyers all the time. I would love to set up a time to meet. We can do it here while you're in town or virtually when you get home. Because I know from experience helping out-of-state buyers, everything you're going through, you got so much to deal with. And I have a great local referral network. So literally anyone you need, you've got enough going on. Let me leverage my network. I'll get you on the phone with the owner of any business you could need, and we take care of all the heavy lifting for you. So would a weekday or weekend work best for that call? Boom. So seamless, right? You've recapped, you've given them customized benefits. That's absolutely going to give you the best chance of setting the appointment at the open house. So that's exactly how you would do it. I think if you skip the recap, less likely, because then you're too pushy, because you haven't expressed that you're listening to their situation.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Great question. Okay, gang, I have another call in a few minutes, so I'm going to debrief, kiss my wife and baby, get back into the office. Thank you for coming to another episode of the Impossible to Fail Mastermind. Zoomwithrob.com is where you can check it out. Keep crushing it, gang. Have a wonderful income producing week, and I look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday, 11 a.m. Central, on our Mastermind.